Hi, welcome back to the Cuzzy Sound channel and another in the Little Boxes series. This little box is Deadbeats. What is Deadbeats? It's basically a tunable drum that you trigger by tapping the box. The dead bit is simply because I had a few of these little mini coffins left over from the post-Halloween sales, so it was just a convenient box to put it in. But yeah, there you go, Deadbeats. The circuit, the drum circuit, is pretty much the same tunable tom circuit from the Logic Noise series on Hackaday. Uses a 4069 inverter chip and a 20 filter. I'll put a link to the original Hackaday article down in description. I did slightly tweak the circuit to fit what I wanted to do. The trigger bit on the box, this is one of my modifications. Instead of having a kind of an input for a square wave or a pulse oscillator, but you could do that would work, but I got one of these things, which is a piezo element, basically a contact microphone. This one's actually just slightly bigger than the one that's in the box, but it doesn't really matter because all we're wanting is a pulse out of it, so I'm not particularly worried about what kind of frequency response I've got from it. I just want a pulse, trigger pulse. So that's on the front end, so that's attached to the box lid. I'll show you some pictures of what's inside the box in a moment. But for now, let's have a look at what my version of the circuit looks like, and it looks like this. So what I've done, I've buffered the contact mic input through one of the inverters. Then it goes into the filter, twin T filters, which essentially it's a high pass and a low pass filter, which kind of gives you a bit of a notch. You've got a control there for decay, and then you've got a control on the potentiometer, and then you've got a control for the tone. Now the thing about the tone control, it shows in this diagram there's two 100k pots. It's actually a dual ganged pot. So it's one of those potentiometers where you've got a single shaft and then two potentiometers on the other end of it. So when you turn it, they both turn in sync. So that's the only kind of special component in there. The inverter at the bottom is basically what is the active bit of the twin T filter, and then there's another filter on the end there, which is designed to take out some of the click from the input trigger. So it's a very simple, very straightforward circuit. I put the circuit onto a strip board, and the strip board layout looks like this. Very few components, actually only using half of the 4069. But it's Little Box's ethos is keep it simple. You might trade off some kind of stability, and I'll talk about that in a minute, some stability and finesse. But the whole idea of these little boxes is you get something that will run on a 9-volt battery and you can have a lot of fun with. Okay, so that's what the circuit diagram and the strip board layout looks like. I'll put those in the Cuzzy Sound Dropbox folders, and again there'll be a link down below so you can get decent copies of those two diagrams. When I do put it in the box, it looks a little bit like this. Well, it looks exactly like this when I built it. My board is not exactly the same as the one I've just shown you on the diagram. The difference being is the one on the diagram has a fixed jumper wire connecting the buffered input to the input on the filter. On my circuit that you can see here, that was one of the modifications I made during prototyping, and the way I did it was, because I'd run out of strips, I had to use a bit of flexible wire to join it from one end of the chip to the other. So that's the only difference. It's exactly the same circuit and it works in exactly the same way. The controls, so you've got the top dial there is the decay, which is just a standard 100k pot, and then the tone or tune controls, it's labelled here, is the dual gang pot. If you look at what that looks like on the lid, you can see that looks a little bit like this. And then there's just the output, which is just a mono 3.5 jack output. That's it really. Oh, there's an on-off switch because it's a battery powered thing, and I've put an LED in the power circuit, so you can get a warning that you've left it switched on and you're flattening your battery. But I do that with all the little boxes. And that's it. That's very, very simple. Should be a fairly easy, quick build if you want to build one of these. But what kind of sounds can you get out of it? Well, let's have a little demo of some of the things we can do. It's just a short demo of some of the sounds that you can get out of Little Box's deadbeats. So the controls, you've got an on-off switch and the power indicator. Then we've got the decay control, which is a single 100k pot. Then you've got the dual gang pot for the tune control, and then out. Out is just simply going to the mixer. There's no other effects or anything to affect the signal, so what you'll hear is what's coming out of here. Well, I say that, but if I tap that, you're probably hearing me rattling the box as much as you're hearing what's actually coming out of the circuit. So to avoid that, I'm going to turn the microphone off. What's happened there, it's gone into the circuit's kind of like self-oscillating a bit. In the Hackaday article it does say that the circuit can be a little bit unstable at times, and yeah, so it can be a bit temperamental, but oh, there we go again. But as I said at the start of this, the ethos behind the Little Boxes is they are simple circuits that are easy to build, run off a battery, and you can just mess around and have a lot of fun with them. This is not intended to be a tunable tom-tom that you can use in your electronic music setup to produce kind of clean drum sound. No, that's not the point of this. The point of this is it's a bit of fun. So I'll have a little bit more fun. Yeah, it does. You have to tweak the knobs quite a bit to get kind of that sweet spot of what you're looking for. I also think I've possibly got the decay port wired back to front. That's simple, I'll just swap that round. But yeah, there you go. It's dead beats, just a bit of fun on a tunable tom-tom drum type thing. But yeah, you fancy having a box that you can tap and make drum sounds with. I've given you the circuit diagram. I've got your strip board layout, I think, and link to the original article if you want to understand how the circuit actually works in detail. So yeah, why not? Go on, have a go. Build your own.